Welcome back. You're watching the Power Breakfast show. Now, this morning we want to take stock of the Devolution conference that took place last week. And in studio, we're joined by His Excellency Okure Monyo. He's a Deputy Governor of Murang'a County, as well as a Vice Chair of the Deputy Governors Forum. Any questions, comments, suggestions you have, 22422 is the SMS line, or you can get us on Twitter. The hashtag is Power Breakfast. For now, I hand you over to Mr. Njau. Mr. Njau?
Thank you, Grego. Welcome, Deputy Governor. You were in Meru. The conference took place last week.
Yes, we did.
And last night you appeared on TV talking about the same.
No.
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
You did?
I didn't. You did not? I did not.
I've been made to understand you.
No, I'm invited for this morning.
Okay. Yes. Now, there were previous conferences like this.
Yes, they happen every year.
Every year?
Yes. This was the third.
Do you have a way of discussing what happened there so that you can have a follow-up? Or you just sit and...
The Devolution conference in Meru had a theme that the promise of devolution, consolidating the gains after transition and looking into the future. That was the theme of the conference last week in Meru. The conference brought together all the governors, the deputies, the executives from the counties, and members of the county assemblies, celebrating what devolution has brought together into this country, into the third year of devolution. The conference highlighted what different counties can celebrate, and it also had the counties depicting in their stands what they would want other counties to learn from them. It was a rich conference, sharing ideas, sharing gains, and looking into the future of devolution. Because devolution is here to stay.
There's no doubt about that. Yeah. What I'm concerned about is this. You hand out, if you are a school teacher,
yes, and
you teach a lesson,
yeah,
when you go to the next one, you evaluate, you look at what you discussed before, so that you can now go ahead. Is there any correlation between this conference and the previous ones?
Yes, there is, because where we're looking at where are we this year from where we were the previous year when we had the Devolution conference in Kisumu, or the other year when the Devolution conference was in Kwale. So it is looking at transitionally what are the gains continuously. And what the Devolution conference was looking at, each county would have been at a different point last year. What are the gains they've consolidated into this year? And this is the conversation that was going on between the participants, depicting what the gains are. I hope you're getting me as I take you through.
Is there documentation? Say, for instance, there was the previous one. Is there a document showing what you did, and there another document showing what this?
Bonajao, this is not like a continuous classroom lesson. All it is that I've brought you that document there, which is the book telling you what counties can celebrate. And what they're saying is that if you go through it, you'll find they're saying in year 1 we did this, in year 2 we did this, in year 3 we're doing this. And continuously we intend to gain this by the end of the 5th year or the end of the first term. And you will see what different counties have put together, have done, and continuously into the third year of devolution.
There's no doubt devolution and counties are doing a good job, but there are also challenges, there are problems, and I've not seen areas, even when you are discussing in Meru, I didn't see any place where saying this is the major problem we have, and we intend to sort it this way.
Okay, the conference was broken down into different plenaries of about 2 to 3 hours. And different subjects were tackled, different challenges were highlighted, and different people were sharing how you can conquer the challenges. The challenges we may find in Murang'a are different from challenges in Wajir, but it's a good lesson to learn what are the best practices done from different counties. And that's exactly what came through during the conference, sharing what gains and consolidating them, and learning from each other how best one can do something as compared to how they do it.
I was asking whether there is any documentation that will show This is, you know, this document is about what has happened, what you are calling celebration. There is no document about the challenges.
What you may need to understand is that after the conference we came up with resolutions of what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And there were 16 resolutions touching on different spheres of what is expected of devolution. That is now what you may need to see for you to see what you're saying documentation of the outcome of the devolution conference. But there were 16 resolutions.
Maybe you want to highlight them?
Well, they will be different according to different, and I can tell you one of them is looking at the best way we will work with the national government. That was one of them. It was also looked at how best registration of issues related to devolution can be enhanced by the Senate, the National Assembly, and the county assemblies. We're also looking at how best we can tackle issues like corruption, and we're saying we also would want to be part of what the President dire need to fight corruption is. We're also looking at issues of how best do we enhance water, health, sanitation, and all those things. So there are 17 resolutions that came out of the Meru Devolution Conference. The reason why I'm asking this, because if there was, indeed there was a conference last year, there must have been resolutions. Yes. Then. Yes. So now, who is going to implement them? If you go through the report there by the chairman of the Council of Governors, he has highlighted what were the previous resolutions and highlighted how they've been achieved. And then different counties have also highlighted how they have achieved that from the previous year's resolutions. The reason why we talked to some senators here in these studios, and the reason why they refused to come, some of them declined to come to the conference, is that just because of that, there is self-glorification, that you are just going to chest thump, and they couldn't see the justification of their coming, although they're supposed to do the oversight. Mutegi, if we have set up a renal hospital in Muranga, we must celebrate it. If a county like Wajir has made a tarmac road, they must celebrate it. Whether you would call it a chest thumping or whatever you would call it, an achievement is an achievement. And I think we must celebrate achievements. We must also tackle challenges, and we also must look at corrective responsibility and looking at what can enhance what is expected by the common monarchy. But celebrating what has been achieved, it can be chest thumping, even if you take it that way. So we were in the conference to consolidate the gains of devolution. It looks like governors think devolution is about governors. The misconception by the common monarchy is that lack of understanding what devolution is. Why would the monarchy not understand? And even yourself, when you think that celebrating gains is chest thumping, or it is feeling like the governors are celebrating themselves. No, they are celebrating what they have done in the counties. And when you step into the counties, you feel the common monarchy also celebrating gains, health, water, sanitation, agribusiness, and all those. And then they can tell you devolution has gotten to them. So the perception that counties don't work is for those people who have not stepped into the counties to see exactly the results of devolution. Do you think the senators were justified in not coming there? I do not know the reason why they did not come. And they know best why they didn't come. But if they get to read this book, and I'm sure they also get to the counties to see what is happening, they will find that gains are being consolidated. And that's the only forum that the 47 counties were coming together to celebrate their gains. It was not justified for them to miss, but it would have been better if they came to understand what different counties. Also, a lot of MCs didn't attend. Well, the number of MCs was commendable. And I could tell from like Muranga, literally the 47 of them were in Meru. So I will not talk of any other account because I don't know them, but I can tell you clearly the Muranga team was consolidated in the conference in Meru. So what is the follow-up? We will follow up with the resolutions. We'll continue working at the counties. And in the next conference, which will come around about the same time next year, the same will be repeated, telling the Mwananchi what has been done for their great counties.
Senator Mokomen, who was here last week, we were talking about the same subject, was complaining that there is a lot of money that is sent to the office of the governor, the Council of Governors. Some counties donate 20 million, some others 5 million, some others not, without any justification of why is one county contributing this and the differences.
I wouldn't know, because I don't sit in the summit as a deputy governor. I don't sit in the Council of Governors, so I wouldn't know what exactly they deal with that money. And if you look at
reports showing a lot of money which is sent there to the Council of Governors.
Well, I think the Council of Governors is an institution that can highlight how they use the money. If the Auditor General would want to audit them, I'm sure they will get the results of how the monies are spent. I wouldn't know myself because I don't sit in the summit.
But Murang'a does contribute to the Council of Governors.
Yes, minimally we've done 3.6 to the Council of Governors, but you've seen others contributing 50, 60 million. Murang'a contributed 3.6.
Is that voluntary or is it compulsory?
As I've told you, I am not aware of how it is done, because we don't sit in the summit as deputy governors, and the Council of Governors doesn't incorporate us in what they really do at the council. So it will be very difficult for me to highlight and tell you they spent the money on this line or on that line.
But you're also the vice chair of the Deputy Governors Forum.
The Deputy Governors Forum is a caucus that came together because we felt that we've been left out in the Council of Governors. And it is a caucus that is not constitutional, but we come together because we have also our rights and we have to champion them. So that is why we came up with the Deputy Governors Forum. It's not a constitutional forum, it's a caucus for the 47 Deputy Governors to fight for.
How is it financed?
We finance it from ourselves, from our pockets in the little activities that we do.
Like how do you raise the money?
Well, we go for meetings. If you go for meetings and we have to spend a meal, nobody can fail to pay for a meal for themselves, but we are not financed by any institution whatsoever. But we also seek assistance from institutions like the World Bank can sponsor us for a conference or something like that, or sponsors from different organizations, and that's how we survive. But we have no finances at all. So that's why I'm telling you, when the Council of Governors is spending, I wouldn't know how they spend their money, because we are not financed at all.
Why would you say you felt you are being left out? If when can you imagine William Ruto saying he's being left out by the president?
Well, I'm telling you, if you understand the Constitution says that the deputy governor only deputizes the governor. Yes. That's it. Yes. Unlike in the presidency, where it's properly stipulated what is expected of the deputy president. We've lobbied through the Senate to have that properly stipulated so that our roles and responsibilities are clearly depicted. And that is why you find challenges in some counties, that you find some deputy governors do nothing. Because if they are not assigned in the roles and responsibilities by their governors, then they end up not having anything to do. You've seen squams in counties where deputies are not doing anything. So that is why we came together, so that in the spirit of brotherhood and leadership, that we can work through our challenges as deputy governors.
Would you, I don't know whether you know this, but what the expense of that meeting in Meru?
I wouldn't know.
Who pays for it? Individual governors pay for themselves?
There were very many sponsors. If you open the last page of this book, you'll see there were sponsors like World Bank and so many. So there were very many sponsors who sponsored this conference.
There are many
you can see.
Yes. The World Bank, UN Women, Deloitte, DSTV, GoTV, even Citizen. Even
Citizen was part of the sponsorship to the conference. So just like you did not know is the same way that I wouldn't know what doesn't involve me is the going of this. But as you're surprised that Citizen sponsored, that is how then the conference came to be.
So you talked about corruption, and the president in his speech was very categorical. He said those governors who still will be treated like criminals and be punished as such. And you answered and said the answer to the president was that he should not threaten governors. Why is that dichotomy?
That statement from the president to me is a very strong statement and should not just be taken as just a statement. All the president said is that in case you're involved in corruption, you will be just like any other criminal. And to me, I understood is that shortly you might see some blood spilling, that anybody who has cases of corruption, they will get to shoulder their burden. And to me, I think the president is on the right track. That anybody who would be perceived to be corrupt, let them shoulder the burden. Let them explain to the common mwananchi why they didn't use their money prudently. I support the president 100% on that statement. Whether it will be perceived that it is intimidating, I tend to think, I agree that anybody who is held with corruption should shoulder their burden.
Your own governor is having issues with the other leaders there. Is it because of leadership, or is it because they want to take over, or is it because those complaints from other leaders, are they genuine?
You will never miss political competition, and political competition will always be there. So whether it is in Muranga, Kericho, Kisii, where there will be political competition, and you cannot stop political competition. Always you'll find there are 10, 20 candidates wanting to go to the seat. The presidency had more than 10 candidates last year, if you'd remember, last general election. So there is nowhere that you'll miss political competition. And political competition is healthy, because that is how people come into leadership.
I'm talking about complaints of misuse of funds in the county. That's not political competition, pointing out things that are supposed to have been done, which were not done.
Misuse of finances are highlighted by the audit report. And like the case you see members of the County Assembly of Muranga taking their credit to the Senate over issues is because they were highlighted in the audit report as part of issues that needed to be categorically understood and categorically explained. And the Senate is the one that exonerated the governor. So it is the institution that takes care of that, but it exonerated the governor. So issues on corruption, if they're there, I'm sure they don't end there. They continue, because other institutions take them up. If an institution takes up and comes and says, for example, Kure Monyo, you did this, I'll have to carry my burden.
If you look at health, I've seen a lot of stuff written here about health.
Yes.
There is a tendency of people feel that health services since devolution have gone down. The governor of Bungoma was here telling us how the health services have improved. But if you look at other counties, many counties, health services is like they have collapsed.
But which is your home county, let me ask?
I come from Kajiado.
You come from Kajiado?
Yes.
I am sure if you did a courtesy call to Governor Kendaya, you will be shocked and surprised. Let me just highlight for you Muranga. We started a Lino unit at Muranga District Hospital, where now people from Muranga no longer come to Kenyatta when they want to go for dialysis. We've set up a dental, eye, and cancer diagnostic hospital in Keno, which was not there before. You don't need to go to Kabete if you want any dental things done. You don't need to come to Rodesho for eye treatment. If you feel you have cancer, it will be diagnosed in Muranga. In support of the national government, we have Muranga District Hospital and Maragua District Hospital upgraded, and facilities are there.
There are many other counties where you have nurses and doctors on strike.
I wish I could speak on behalf of the 47 if I had the authority. I'm sure I would highlight, just like you've picked Bungoma, where they're putting up a referral hospital. Labor disputes will never cease to be there. We once had a case of members of the health staff on strike.
In Muranga? In
Muranga, yes. We experienced that because they demanded employment. And all we did in the process of negotiations, we got things resolved. You cannot stop industrial disputes among members of staff. So where you find a case like Nandi where they are on strike, they have their own issues that they are picking up. It has happened to many of the counties, but they've been resolved. And there is nothing, it's not a standard that you can say since one county members of health are on strike, it becomes a benchmark of that health has deteriorated, health has improved.
There is a new law that was passed last month, I think, designating county headquarters, and that has caused the disputes in certain counties. What do you say about that?
Well, I think county headquarters was, they were properly stipulated by the Transition Authority, and that is where people settled. And the law just says this is where the county headquarters is, so that it doesn't mean that today I am the Deputy Governor of Murang'a, the headquarters is in Murang'a. Next time somebody else is the governor, moves the county headquarters to their village. I think that is just to ensure that they protect that you don't keep moving the county headquarters depending on who is in power at the moment.
There has been disputes in Kirinyaga, there have been disputes in Kiambu.
I have no authority about those places because I'm not really conversant with what the issues are in those counties. But all I know is that Kiambu initially settled at Thika, but they later moved to Kiambu where they are expected to settle. I'm not too sure of the issues in Kirinyaga, but I know they've gone to court over that, and I'm sure that will be properly determined by the proper institutions.
Those resolutions you said about 17. Do they have measurable outcomes that you can say that this will be done at this particular time? We set deadlines.
You see, from a conference, you cannot come out with very, very detailed resolutions. But the broader resolutions will be sat down because they concern different institutions. Some concern the Senate, others concern Treasury, others concern presidency and all that. So there will be a team that will go further and now put meat into the resolutions and see how best that they can be achieved. So from the conference perspective, they broadly lead that the involved institutions will be Council of Governor, Presidency, Treasury and that. So those are the institutions that will later further go and now put proper measurable targets to those resolutions.
The office of the governor has alienated Mwananchi from the devolution, in the sense that they are grand. You know, the big man, African big man, His Excellency the governor, with the troops of escorts and vehicles following him. It's like the big man syndrome has been removed from State House to counties.
I don't think that is the case. And from a point of information, the offices of the governor are more reachable than when we had the central government. If you wanted to meet the leader in central Kenya, for example, you had to go to Nyeri. If you want to see the governor now, there are 5 governors in central Kenya, where you can find a governor in Nyeri, in Kirinyaga, in Murang'a, in Nyandarua, in Kiambu, and this has brought reachability to the people. The governors are more reachable than you would have said you would have reached the district commissioner or the provincial commissioner before. So there is the perception that governors are not reachable, but it is not true. And I would invite you to Murang'a, and you come without notice and you see how easy it is to meet either myself or His Excellency the governor.
Why all that grandstanding? Why more vehicles, more security? You know, like a governor having 10 policemen.
I don't know where that comes from, but I came in alone here, checked from the gates, I walked in alone. I did not need any escort, and I don't need. If I am going somewhere and I need some security, I'll walk with an askari. If I'm going to a function, I will need to walk with maybe the minister in charge of that, the CC member in charge of that, the chief officer. So if I'm visiting an agricultural farm, I will go with the people involved in agriculture. So if that would be seen to be gradual, then I don't know how best it can. If the president moves anywhere, he moves with the cabinet secretaries involved and those ones who have an interface with that. So there is nothing gradual as people put it. You could find there's a convoy which looks a little big, but it's because different people are involved in whatever activity people will be doing. If I'm driving to work, I'll drive in a single car. But if I'm driving to a project, I'll have other people joining me who have interest in that project.
In Meru, when some governors arrived there was some of them caused commotion because they came in big convoys.
If they could have, if I didn't see any outriders, but if they could have consolidated, if we drove in as a convoy from Murang'a, there will be the governor, the deputy governor, 49 MCAs, 10 CECs. If we drove in together, then for sure it will be gradual because we were all going together. But if we drove in different convoys, then you might not spot it. But you can imagine each county has a governor and a deputy, has 10 CECs, has big numbers of MCAs. So when all these people are moving together, there's real grad. But it eventually is what is expected of them. There's nobody who doesn't own a car among those people, whether a county car or their own car. So there's no gradual per se, as you say. I don't think there's any governor who has outriders. You could have a red car, but I don't think they have outriders.
Going back to corruption, procurement procedures.
Yeah.
And the governors have apparently don't want to use computerized procurement systems.
I don't think that's the case. There could be cases, yes, which are like that in different counties, but PPOA gives very clear guidelines on how procurement is done. Procurement is the first thing that the Auditor General audits. So whether it will be done manually or whether it will be computerized, the proper process is known and is written in the Procurement Act clearly. So whether it's computerized or not, it will still be done. I know different counties are at different stages of ICT, and that is where you find some have already completed the setting up of ICT for procurement, others are not yet. But after all, they will all get there.
What about employment? There is a law requiring that a certain percentage of employees must come out of the county. And the understanding I have is that that has not been achieved. You are employing local people from the same county. You don't go to the extent of making sure you employ people from outside the county.
I think from a point of information, you need to know that we absorbed all staff that were in the local government. Every member who was working with any local government setup was absorbed. The people who are later recruited are very specialized staff. For a case in Murang'a, we have one of our CC, or who would call a minister from Kisii. So we have, in the 10 that are expected, at least we have one. So 10% of them is not from Murang'a. So us, as in Murang'a, we have, you'll come and find among the other cadre, you find of all different tribes. It doesn't have, you come to agriculture, most of the people there are not Kikuyus, and even if they are Kikuyus, they are not necessarily from Murang'a. But we've employed very few people. So that is why people will achieve that of the new people coming on board. But those we absorb from the local county government, they will remain from where they were. And you can remember that they were normally domesticated staff.
What about giving tenders? Do you normally give to people of Murang'a or you get to anybody?
Tenders are open. Murang'a, we also adhere to the 30% of the youth and women. And tenders are given to different people. I will not know names of everybody because I don't involve myself into that, but I know work is done by people from all over the country.
So, in your view, what is the future of devolution? Because it looks like
it's so clear in my mind that devolution is here to stay and is the right thing to do. If you go to the common person, they will tell you, I did not expect a road to be opened up, but now there's a road that has come up in 3 years. There's a few what the national government had not done in 51 years. So devolution is getting to the people. It is the right thing to do. It's only that the small challenges and the teething problems that have come up will get ironed out, and progressively devolution will take shape.
A lot of road networks have been given to counties, and my understanding is that there are some people who would rather we have rural roads authority, urban roads authority, not give the road to counties, because counties don't have qualified engineers. They don't have the equipment.
What do you mean by they don't have qualified engineers? Where is that engineer? That engineer who works in the national government belongs to a certain county. So if there is an engineer who is in the national government under Kura, Kera or Kenha, is the same engineer who will now work from a specific county. Roads, county have not been given roads per se. As you know, Kenha, Kura and Kera are 3 state corporations which are still dealing with roads. But the county governments are expected to do with the rural Class E roads. And you will find the national government is still doing roads. So county is doing the rural feeder roads to open up, especially for agriculture and agricultural produce to reach the markets.
Some comment here. If you are going to be near, please visit the garbage dump site next to the provincial hospital. Where, okay, dumping. I've seen it here. Health and environment. Collection of garbage. In Nairobi, for instance, this person is called Baldev Singh. He's from Nyeri. In Nairobi, for instance, the garbage collection is gone haywire. This is a man from complaining in Nyeri. I don't know what about the situation in your county.
Look, that's Nyeri, that's Nairobi. Do you find any from Muranga? Because that's the one I would have authority to talk about.
Yes. But you think you are taking care of health and environment?
Yes, we are at it.
Okay.
We would have some challenges, but we are at it. We are at it.
Thank you very much for now, Governor. And I think you have run out of time. We'll take a short break and then go to sports and other interviews.
Thank you to you.
Thank you.